Hello, this is Reverend Stans, the Tech High Priest. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use passwordless authentication, where you can log into a server or another system without using a password. Well, in this scenario, we'll be working using SSH keys. Now, SSH keys, what are they? These are key pairs. Like you can have a public and a private key, and the private key will remain with the client or your laptop or the machine you're going to be using to reach out to the world. And the public key, you're going to give it to the server. You're going to push it into a server. And now you use your private key on the client to access the server without the need of a password. And this is very important for so many reasons. Number one, it enhances security, right? They are more secure than passwords. And they use very strong algorithm. It's going to reduce the incident of like brute force attack where someone can try 1,000 passwords to get into your system. Now, you don't also have to transmit passwords when you use SSH authentication. And you can use them in automation. Let's say you were doing scanning or vulnerability management and you want to log into a bunch of boxes. It's just way better to use SSH than typing in passwords. Well, we can still save password with those, but SSH, again, it's convenient, it's more secure, and it also prevents the possibility of shoulder surfing, where you're typing a password and someone is watching over you to see what you're typing, right? So it takes advantage of cryptography and the strength in cryptography to make sure that your environment is very secure. Now, in this example, I have two servers. I have one is a Red Hat server 9, another is another Red Hat server. And I'll call the very first one Arrow Scanner 1. Arrow Scanner 1. So it's my first scanning machine. I use these machines for scanning, but again, it's just a server. I will use this server Arrow Scanner 1 to generate SSH keys, and I will use those SSH keys to log in to another server, which I call Arrow Scanner 2. So this Arrow Scanner 1 is going to be our client machine, and Arrow Scanner 2 is going to be our server. So again, if you're using a Mac, you can do this also from a Mac. A Mac can be your client machine, and or MacBook, Mac OS, it can be your client machine, and then another server, you get the IP of the server. So you can also SSH to any server. You can use the host name of those servers or the IP addresses. In this case, I just want to use the IP address. I'm going to come here to the server 2 IP add to see the IP address, and this is the IP address 10.0.0.126. And there's an IP address for this server called Scanner 2, or I can just call it server 2. So I'm going to SSH to that machine. I'm now on the very first machine called Scanner 1. I want to SSH into Scanner 2. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say SSH, my username sdbit at 10.0.0.126, and I'm going to hit enter. And it's asking me for a password. And look at what happens. Boom, I'm inside the machine when I give the password. And you can look at right now, I'm sdbit at Scanner 2. It's Scanner 2. And I'm sdbit here at Scanner 2. So initially, remember, I was here in Scanner 1. Now I'm inside of Scanner 2, which is this machine over here, this machine in the black background. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this. And I'm going to exit. I want to leave Scanner 2. Now I'm back to my regular machine, and you can see I'm sdbit at Scanner 1. But what did you notice? Did you notice that it asked me for a password? I don't want to provide a password. I want to be able to log into this machine with a black background without a password. And so for us to do this, like I initially said, we would have to create a pair of keys. One is going to be a private key, and the other is going to be a public key. Very, very easy. Before we do that, I wanted to do something. Just on your home computer, just write the word CD on your terminal in Scanner 1 on your first machine, hit enter. That takes you to your home directory. And how do you know you're there? By seeing this tilde sign, it tells you in the home directory. Let's do ls-la. LA will show you all hidden files. Now hit enter. And then we can clearly see there's a directory here called .ssh. If you don't have that directory, that is all right. It's going to generate it for you when we start the process. So I'm going to hit clear screen, and I'm going to start to generate the private key. So I'm going to create a key. I'm going to do SSH. Sorry, we're going to do that on this machine, Scanner 1, which is what I want to use to get into Arrow Scanner 2. SSH-keygen. Okay, that's the command, SSH keygen. And this is all you have to do. You can either hit enter or you can give a bunch of other options, but let us keep it very simple. Now hit enter. Guess what happens? it's going to generate a bunch of keys. It says, hey, enter the directory where this file will be stored, right? Enter file in which to save the key. So you see home slash stb slash sshd SSH slash IRSA. So this is the path where this key will be stored. And it's asking me to enter the file. I'm not going to give any name. I'm just going to leave it like that. And I'm just going to hit enter. That's all I'm just going to do. Oh, and it's asking me for a passphrase, like a long string of text to make this key even secure. I don't want to use a passphrase. I'm just going to hit enter. And then it's asking me to repeat the passphrase, nothing, and I just hit enter. And guys, look at this. This is the key. It's generated an RSA 3072 bytes key. So what are we going to do after this? Look at this is the path where the key is being stored under the home directory of stbit and under a directory called .ssh. So I could literally go to that directory. If you look here, it's slash home slash stbit.ssh. So I'm going to clear my screen, cd slash home slash stbit.ssh, and hit enter and I do an ls. You will see two keys. You see, ID underscore RSA is your private key. ID underscore RSA dot pub is the public key. So I can even cut them. Let us look at the public key, ID underscore RSA dot pub. I'm going to cut that and let's look. Guys, this is my public key. I don't mind if anyone sees this. It's okay, I just cut it. This is the content of the public key. Now, we can also look at the content of the private key. Remember, that is, you don't have to show anyone your private key. In fact, I should not even display that on the screen. But this is for educational purpose, and I'm going to delete it after this. So I'm going to cut ID underscore RSA, and that is the private key. It's a bunch of characters, We look over here, this is a bunch of characters, and that's our private key. It ends with the word open SSH private key. We can scroll and see everything about the key. You see the private key is way longer than the public key. This is the public key we had initially. This is it. And down below here, look, we have, this is the private key. Remember, no one has to see this private key. It has to be confidential at all times because that is the gate to the kingdom. Now I'm going to clear my screen. And since I have generated two keys that are under my .ssh directory, if I do a pwd, you see this is where I'm finding myself, -home /stbit.ssh. If you go to your home directory by just hitting cd, you'll find yourself there. Remember, if you type ls and you hit enter, you will never see it. But if you write ls-lh, you will also not see it. ls-la will show you hidden files. In Linux, any file that begins with a period or a full stop or period, that is a hidden file. So that's why we cannot see this when we type it regularly. But it's right there. So I'm going to copy that public key into the key store of RScanner 2. I'm going to send it to RScanner 2 so I can SSH there next time with no issues. So I'm going to say SSH, let's copy ID, and let's say stbit. I give my username at, I give the IP address of scanner 2, 10.0.0.126, and I hit enter. Whoop, look this, it's very smart, it knows where to get the keys, and I think I should make this a little larger for you guys to see. It knows where to get the key. It says it's gonna copy one key source, it's copying the key, it knows the default directory, where to look for it, and it's gonna go into .ssh.rd.pop, and it's gonna send it into the server 2, the RScanner 2. So I'm going to put in my password. So look at that. Bam. It says, hey, I put in the password for my account in RScanner 2, which is our second server. It says it's added one key to it. Now try and log into the machine, and it gives us a command to type, and it will ask us for no password. Let's take a look, guys. I'm going to say SSH. I've written that twice. I'm going to hit Ctrl+C, clear my screen. SSH stbit at this. So I'm going to SSH that machine stbit at server 2. Look at what happens when we do it this time. It's not going to ask us for a password. Poof! There you go. We are inside of RScanner 2. So this is how you easily enter another machine without ever needing to type a password. So from now onward, I don't have to remember my password for RScanner 2, which is our second server. So I just SSH to it, and that's it because it has my public key. Now I'm going to show you something really cool. Let's go to our scanner 2, the original server we're SSHing to. This is the server. I'm inside of our scanner 2. If I do an ls, or I'm locked into it, I can do an ls here. And if we do an ls-l you will see there's also a hidden SSH file. It's created automatically as we send those keys. I'm going to cd to .ssh, and I'm inside of there. I'm going to do an ls, and look at this, authorized keys. There is a file called authorized key. If you've pushed any key to this server, it's going to be stored under the .ssh directory called authorized keys, in a file called authorized keys. I'm going to cut that file, and in that file, if we cut that file, you will see that it has the public key of our scanner 1. There we go. Look at this. I cut the file. Look at this. This is ssh-ra, and the user is sdavid at scanner1. It came all the way from scanner1. So if you push other keys from other computers, it's going to be stored here under authorized keys. If I delete this file, authorized keys, then the guys over here in scanner1 will no longer be able to SSH without a password. They are going to be prompted for a password. So in a nutshell, that is how you SSH into a system if you don't have a password, or if you don't want to use a password. You can push in your public keys into that server, and from then onward, you can easily SSH into that system without a password. I hope that this was clear. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask under the comment. I will do my best to reply to every question you ask. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Talk to you in the next video. Bye.